On a guided tour of the Amazon rainforest in Peru, a woman from California kept swatting at insects and complaining about the humidity. After an hour, she stopped the guide and asked with genuine frustration, "So when do we get to the real part of the jungle? You know, the part from the movies with the cute monkeys and the big clean waterfall we can swim in. This is just a bunch of hot, dirty trees. I feel like this is just the boring entrance area." My friend is a guard at the Louvre. He told me about an American family who stood in front of the Mona Lisa for a few minutes before the father announced loudly, "Okay, it's way too small. I've seen better prints at Target." He then turned to the guard and asked, "Do you have a bigger version in the back? Or maybe one that's a bit more high definition? The quality on this one is really poor. It's kind of blurry." I was on a Shinkansen bullet train in Japan, known for its quiet and orderly environment. A group of American college students boarded, talking at full volume and laughing loudly. When a conductor politely gestured for them to lower their voices, one of them said, "What's his problem? We're just having a good time." Another added, "Seriously, it's a train, not a library. People in this country need to lighten up. It's like they don't know what fun is." While visiting a centuries-old Buddhist temple in Thailand, I saw an American tourist trying to get a selfie with a meditating monk. The monk remained perfectly still with his eyes closed. The tourist started waving his hand in front of the monk's face, saying, "Hello, Earth to Buddha boy. Can you at least smile or do a peace sign for the picture? You're not giving me much to work with here. This is terrible customer service for a holy man." An American businessman was in our London office for a week. On his last day, he told us, "I've cracked your system. You drive on the left, you call fries chips, and you put the day before the month on your dates. It's all intentionally backwards to confuse people." He then said, with complete seriousness, "It's a clever defense strategy. In case of an invasion, the enemy would be so confused by everything being wrong that you'd have the upper hand." At a winery in Tuscany, the sommelier was explaining the complex notes of a Chianti Classico. After the tasting, an American woman raised her hand. "This is very nice," she said, "but do you have anything sweeter? Like Moscato? Or even better, do you have any white Zinfandel? I find all this dry, bitter stuff gives me a headache. You'd probably sell a lot more wine if you made flavors that people actually enjoy drinking." I witnessed an American tourist at the Berlin Wall Memorial get visibly angry. He wasn't moved by the history. He was upset by the structure itself. He told his wife, "This is the most pathetic wall I've ever seen. It's just a slab of concrete with graffiti. My homeowners association would have a fit. Trump's wall is going to be so much bigger and better. It'll make this thing look like a garden fence. Honestly, it's embarrassing." During a trip to Iceland, a tourist on my bus was shocked to learn that the country has a very low crime rate and no standing army. He turned to the Icelandic guide and asked, "So you're telling me anyone can just walk in here? With no military? That's incredibly irresponsible. What if another country decides they want your glaciers? You guys are just sitting ducks. You should really let America build a base here to protect you properly." In a small fishing village in Greece, an American was trying to buy fish directly from a fisherman's boat. The fisherman was speaking Greek. The American, frustrated, pulled out his phone and opened Google Translate. He typed, "How much for big fish?" and showed the screen. The fisherman replied in Greek. The American then shouted, "Just speak into the phone! Use the app! It's not that hard! Technology!" I was working at a hotel in Sydney, Australia, when a guest called down to the front desk. "Hi, I just checked in, and I have a serious problem with my room." I asked what was wrong. He replied, "The toilet flushes the wrong way. It's spinning counterclockwise. This is deeply unsettling, and I think it might be broken. Can you send a plumber up to fix it so it flushes the correct American way?" A tourist at the ancient ruins of Ephesus in Turkey was looking at the detailed mosaics on the ground. He asked the guide, "Who's the contractor for this tile work? It's amazing. I'm redoing my bathroom, and I'd love to get a quote. Does his company have a website or an Instagram I can look at? I want this exact pattern, but maybe with some different colours to match my towels. Overheard on a bus in Scotland, an American teenager asked his father, "Why do they talk so weird here? I can't understand anything." The father replied, "Well, son, they were trying to learn English from us, but they were so far away across the ocean that they didn't get it quite right. They're trying their best, so be nice to them. It's like a really, really old accent that they just never updated." An American couple was visiting a Maasai village in Kenya as part of a cultural tour. After watching a traditional jumping dance, the wife turned to her husband and said, "Their outfits are incredible, but they don't look very comfortable. And all this jumping, it seems a bit primitive. It's a shame they haven't been exposed to modern things like Zumba or hip-hop. We could probably teach them a few moves." In a crowded market in Delhi, India, an American tourist was trying to navigate the chaos. He stopped a vendor and said, "Who is in charge of this place? I need to file a complaint. There are no clear lanes for walking. People are bumping into me, and the noise level is unacceptable. This whole operation is a safety violation. You need to organize this place into a proper grid system like the streets in New York." I was on a flight to Cairo when the American man next to me started a conversation. He found out I was Egyptian and said, "I'm so excited to see the pyramids. I've always wondered, how did you guys get the alien technology to work? Was it hard to figure out? It's amazing that a civilization from back then could operate advanced alien spacecraft. Do you still have any of the ships?" He was completely serious. A tourist in a traditional Irish pub, famous for its live music, waited for a break in the folk songs. He then went up to the musicians and said, "You guys are pretty good. Can you play Sweet Home Alabama? Or maybe some Bon Jovi? Let's get this party started with some real music." The musicians just stared at him until he awkwardly returned to his seat. While visiting the DMZ between North and South Korea, an American tourist looked across the border and said, "It doesn't look so bad over there. A little quiet, maybe. You know, I bet if we just sent them a few McDonald's and a bunch of iPhones, this whole communism thing would be over in a week. It's all about showing them what they're missing. It's a marketing problem, really." In a restaurant in Madrid, a group of Americans was upset that dinner service didn't start until 8 p.m. One of them complained to the host, "But we're starving now. It's 6:30. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. In the US, we have early bird specials. You guys are missing out on a huge market. You should adapt to your customers' schedules if you want to be successful." A woman at the top of the Eiffel Tower was looking out over Paris. I heard her say to her friend, "It's a nice view, but I don't see the appeal. It's just a bunch of old buildings. The Vegas one is much better. It's in a better location and you can gamble right after. This is just a radio tower in the middle of a city. Frankly, I'm a little underwhelmed." I was hiking in the Swiss Alps and came across an American family having a picnic. The father was looking at a map with a confused expression. He flagged me down and asked, "Excuse me, can you tell me which one of these mountains is the Matterhorn?" I pointed it out. He then asked, "Not the Toblerone one, the one from the Paramount Pictures logo. Which one is that? We came all this way and I want a picture with the movie mountain." An American tourist in a Dutch coffee shop, the kind that sells cannabis, was confused by the menu. He called the employee over and said, "I don't understand any of these names. It's all very confusing. Can you just give me something that's like the stuff Snoop Dogg smokes? You know, the good stuff. The celebrity weed. I don't want any of this generic European stuff." While on a boat tour of the Galapagos Islands, a tourist was watching the sea lions. He asked the naturalist guide, "They're cute, but are they trained? Can you get them to do tricks? Like balance a ball on their nose or clap their flippers? It would make the tour so much more entertaining. You should really have a show schedule for them." In a tailor shop in Hoi An, Vietnam, known for its custom-made clothing, an American man was getting measured for a suit. He told the tailor, "Okay, I want this suit, but I need it to be exactly like the one I have from Armani. Same cut, same fabric, same everything. but I only want to pay about $50 for it. That's a fair price here, right? You guys are good at making cheap copies of our stuff. A tourist visiting the ancient city of Rome was looking at the Trevi Fountain. He turned to his wife and said, "It's beautiful, but what a waste of water. In California, we're in a drought, and these guys are just letting it run all day. They should turn it off at night to conserve it. It's just irresponsible. Don't they know about climate change?" I overheard an American at a bullfight in Spain. He wasn't horrified, he was bored. He said to his friend, "This is so slow. There's too much ceremony with the capes and stuff. They should just give the matador a gun. It would be way more efficient and exciting. This whole thing could be over in 5 minutes. It's a classic example of European inefficiency." An American student in a German bakery was trying to buy bread. He pointed at a dark rye loaf and said, "Why is your bread all brown and hard? It looks burnt. Don't you have any normal, soft white bread? Like Wonder Bread? This stuff looks like it would break your teeth. It's not healthy." While visiting the Palace of Versailles, I overheard an American teenager complaining to her mother about the Hall of Mirrors. "Mom, this is so extra. Who needs this many mirrors? It's tacky, and the gardens are way too big. You'd get lost just trying to find the pool. My friend's mansion in Beverly Hills is way more tasteful, and the layout actually makes sense. This is just trying too hard." An American tourist in a small Icelandic town was trying to pay for souvenirs with US dollars. The shopkeeper politely explained they only accepted Icelandic krona, or credit cards. The tourist replied, "But the dollar is the world's currency. It's worth more than your whatever this is. You're losing a sale because of your stubbornness. It's just bad business to refuse real money. I guess you don't want my business?" I was on a boat in Halong Bay, Vietnam, when an American man on the tour started a conversation with the local guide. He said, "This place is stunning, absolutely beautiful. Have you guys ever thought about selling it? I bet Disney would pay a fortune to turn this into a water park. You could have slides coming off the big rocks and a lazy river. It would be a huge upgrade and create so many jobs." At a public bathhouse in Budapest, an American was visibly uncomfortable with the nudity in the changing rooms. He approached an attendant and said, "Excuse me, I need to report a problem. There are a lot of old, naked men walking around in here. It's very unsanitary and frankly disgusting. In America, we have rules about this. You should really enforce a mandatory swimsuit policy for the entire facility, not just the pools." A tourist was visiting the ancient city of Ayutthaya in Thailand, looking at the famous Buddha head entwined in tree roots. He turned to his guide and asked, "So how did you guys get the tree to grow so perfectly around the statue's head like that? Is it a special kind of genetically modified tree? It's an amazing piece of landscaping. I'd love to know the technique so I can try it in my garden back in Ohio." I was in a pub in London when a group of American tourists came in. One of them went to the bar and asked, "Which one of these beers is the most like a Bud Light?" The bartender suggested a light lager. The tourist tried it, made a face and said, "Ugh, no, this has way too much flavour. It tastes like bread. I just want something cold and watery that I can drink all day without getting full. Don't you have anything that's just regular beer?" While on a walking tour of Prague's Old Town Square, an American tourist looked at the famous astronomical clock and said, "Okay, I see all the dials and puppets, but I don't get it. My Apple Watch has more features than this, and it fits on my wrist. Why is everyone staring at a giant, confusing clock that's probably wrong half the time? It seems really inefficient." It's a classic case of old technology that people are sentimental about for no reason. An American couple was dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant in Lyon, France, known for its innovative cuisine. After the waiter described a complex dish involving foams, gels, and deconstructed elements, the husband sighed and said, "Look, can we just get a steak? A big one, well done, with a side of fries and a bottle of ketchup. We don't need all this fancy science project food. We just want to eat a normal dinner." While visiting a historic cemetery in Edinburgh, a tourist asked the guide, "Why are all the famous people buried so deep in the ground? It's very inconvenient. You should dig them up and put them in a nice, clean museum with glass cases so people can actually see them. It's a wasted opportunity for tourism. A man in a Tokyo electronics store was marveling at the high-tech gadgets. He picked up a device and said to his friend, "It's amazing how good the Japanese are at copying our technology and making it smaller. They must have a bunch of smart guys who take apart our inventions and figure out how to shrink them. It's a real talent." At a pearl farm in French Polynesia, after a demonstration of how pearls are cultured in oysters, a tourist asked the guide, "So you're telling me you have to wait years for one little pearl? That's a terrible business model. Why don't you just make them in a factory? You could produce thousands a day. It would be so much more profitable. You're leaving a lot of money on the table."